Hello viewers, welcome to the lecture on linear algebra. So today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is the least square method. That how we can use the least square method for uh, large number of data points. So let's start with that one. So today topic is the method of least square approximation with MATLAB application. So first we'll discuss that how the least square method is being used, and then we'll also discuss the mathematical code, that how we can implement this one using MATLAB or Octave. Now you know that this is also used for curve fitting. So this is the introduction, the curve fitting. The curve fitting, also known as a regression analysis, is used to find the best fit line or curve for a series of data points. Okay, so there are three frequently used curve fitting techniques. The first one is the method of least square, and then after that you can have a interpolation. So we'll discuss the linear interpolation or spline interpolations. So this is the, suppose we have the data points, and these data points are spread over the this in the graph. So in the first one, what we are going, we are trying to approximate a curve that is passing through all of these points. But for the, like here we have a five number of points. So if I want to approximate this one with the help of a line, then it is not possible, because line, to draw a line we need minimum 2 points, and in this case the 5 points are there and these points are not lying on a line. So what do we do? This is what we call it the least square approximation, that is shown in the first graph. And in the second graph, we are approximating this with the linear interpolation. It can be a spline also. So in this case, what we are doing, it is not exactly the linear interpolation. It is a type of the spline we are doing, because we are connecting the lines. So 5 points are there. Now I connect the first 2 points with the line, then second and third with the line, and third and fourth with the line, and fourth and fifth with the line. So in the case we are drawing four different lines, and the condition is that at the interior nodes, these two lines, they are connecting to each other. So this is a type of continuous form. So in this case we have the condition that at the interior nodes this should be continuous. The same thing we can apply for the splines. Like in this case we are considering the a type of uh, quadratic spline or a cubic spline. So in this case, this is also connected, two nodes are connected with some non-linear function, then another nodes, then another nodes, then another nodes. And this is the splines, because in this case we always have the condition in the connecting node or the interior node, that it should be continuous and their derivative should be continuous. If it is a cubic spline, then their second derivative is also continuous. So these are the condition we can put based on the which type of spline we are using. Like in the linear spline, we have the only one condition, that it should be continuous. Now in this talk, we are going to cover the least square approximation. Then in the least square approximation, we deal with the normal equation, and then we also discuss the type of least square curves fit. And in the end, we'll also discuss some MATLAB example, straight line fit, quadratic fit, and then we also discuss the pros and cons of this least square method and some of its applications. So the thing is that what is the least square? So least square actually minimize the square of the error between the original data points and the values predicted by the normal equations. Normal equation that is being used to find out the least square method. Further, the method of least square allows us to describe a model as being represented by the line of best fit. So least square gives you the best fit line. So how we ensure that is the best fit line? Because for the least square regression methods, the best line is one that minimize the sum of squared vertical differences between the points and the line. The smaller the sum of squared differences, the better the fit of the line. So this is the condition we have, that how we can say that this is the best fit, because in this case we are uh, finding out the errors, the squared errors, and then we are doing the minimization of that one. And minimization, we already know that how a function can be minimized by taking the partial derivatives. So in this case we are minimizing the error, so that's why in that sense we call it the best fit line. Now suppose this is the points. So this star are the points that is given to me. Suppose this data is given to you. This data can be of any data. It can be a, you suppose you are doing some experiment of measuring something, and in that measurement you are taking the different measurement and putting this value on the graph. So after getting this number of values, you get your data that is look like of this type. Now if you see from this data, and if somebody asks you that, okay, can you approximate these data points with a function or with a curve? So in that case, these data points does not fall on a line, so definitely it cannot be approximated with a line, or I cannot maybe not be able to find the curve fit by a quadratic curve or a cubic curve, like these things. So in this case, the data points are spread in this form, in this fashion. So now the best thing is that we want that our approximation should be the best approximation. So what we do, we find a line that represents the best linear relationship. Definitely this line is not passing through all points. It is passing only from one, two. If you see, it is completely passing through 4 points close to that one, but all other points are quite away from this line. Then the question is that how we can say that this is the best fit. So in this case, we just taken the x-axis and y-axis as a and b axis. So we just take a line b is equal to ax. Okay, so uh, and this line is passing through the origin. That's why we are just taking the line relations b is equal to ax. Now what we do is that I will try to find out that suppose this is my line, that line I have taken, b is equal to ax. Now I will try to find out the values whatever I am getting from this, because this is the line I am getting. I will substitute the value of ai here, and I get the value bi. So if I suppose take a point, this point, suppose I take this point. So this point is my some value of ai is given to me. This is my suppose ai, any ai. This value is given to me. I will substitute this value into my line that is my bi is equal to ai for some x is a slope here, then this bi will be here because it is coming from this line. But ultimately for this x, for this ai, this is my bi. This is a value it is given to me. Okay, for this ai, this is the value is given to me. So what I do is that I will just write this. For this point, my ai is given to me, and this is the value of the point. And from the line I'm proposing for this ai, this is my bi. So what I'm going to do is that I will try to find out what is the difference between this value and this value. Okay, so this is my bi minus ai x. So this is my bi and minus aix, and I call it the error ei. Similarly, I will take this point corresponding to this point, corresponding to this point. All this point I will calculate the values. So you see that a point which is going this point, if I talk about this point, in this in this case the error will be zero, because ultimately the point is also lying on the line. Okay, so this point is quite far from this line. So in this case the error will be quite high as compared to the point which is this one. So if the point is coming close to the line, the error will be small. But if it's quite away from the line, then it will be large. Next thing is that if you see this point is on the upper side of the line and this point in the lower side of the line. Then in this case, if I calculate the same value bi minus aix, then you can see that if I take the error here, it will be positive. If I find the error here, it will be negative. So in this case, my EIs will be positive as well as negative. So it may happen that suppose you have a data of this type. Suppose you are considering a line like this one, and suppose I take one point here, one is here, and one is here, and another is suppose I'm taking one point here, and one here. Just the mirror image along this line, then you will see that in this case, suppose I'm taking the 6 points. So in the 6 points, 3 points will be positive and three EIs will be negative. And if I add together, then it may happen that the error will be zero. Complete error will be zero. But that is actually not in the case here, because the error will be should be zero when all this point lies on the circle, lies on the line. But if it is not lying on the line, then my error cannot be zero. So we have taken the error ei just now, and we found that it can be positive also as well as negative also. Now what I do is that now what we are doing, we have calculated all these things. The problem is that the data does not go through a line, so that we come to know from this data that we get the ei. Now what I do is that we'll take the square of this error and then add all this error together. So our aim is to find the line that minimize this sum. So what we are doing here, we are taken this is my ei square, and I am taking all this error together. So whatever the error is there, I got this error and I want that this error should be minimized. Okay, if this error, all this square becomes zero, like suppose I got this value equal to zero and this is a square here, it means that all the point will lie on the line. But if that is not true, then definitely we are not going to get this value 0, we're going to get some number here. But this is our thing that we are going to calculate. We are going to take the sum and try to find all this error. Now, unlike interpolation method, in the method of least square, we fit a polynomial or some other function which may or may not pass through any of the data point. Okay, if you remember in the interpolation, the word interpolation comes, that it says that the our curve should pass through the all the data points. That is the first condition there. Okay, so suppose we have a five data points. So in five data points, if I want to do the interpolation, only interpolation, then maybe I will get a line, I will get a curve that is fourth in order, polynomial fourth in order. Because if I need a curve and these data points are not lying on a line, then if I want to interpolate these points, then I will take a line, take a curve which is passing through all these points and satisfying 5 points. Then definitely I have to take fourth order polynomial, because with the help of the fourth order polynomial I will be able to get a curve which is passing through all these 5 points. Okay, so to get rid of this one methods, we apply the least square approach. Because you know that in the interpolation, suppose I have a curve, like suppose I have a curve point. So these are the points. Okay, and if somebody says, okay, you draw a line, draw a curve which is passing through all this point. So maybe I will start a curve from here and I do the interpolation. I am just doing the interpolation, not the splines. So maybe I will get this value and this value and this value. Okay, so this curve is a nonlinear curve, and if you want to get this polynomial, suppose we have 7 points, and if you suppose do this interpolation, like maybe you have a Newton methods or Lagrange interpolation, then you know that in this case you will get a polynomial, sixth degree polynomial. So in this case, you will get the degree polynomial, and that the best thing is with that polynomial is that it is passing through all these points. But this thing is okay. Now, what will happen if we have a n is equal to 100 points? So if we have 100 points, I will get a polynomial of degree 99. And you know that if you are dealing with a 90 degree 99 a polynomial, then even you want to find out its roots, or if you want to do some algebra with that polynomial, then it is not possible. Even with the computer, it is going to take much larger time if you want to do some uh, post processing of that polynomial. So to get rid of these type of things, then a method came. So after that, we use the concept of splines just to get rid of this high degree polynomial. And the another method was the least square method. So least square method is the best fit in the sense that it is going to minimize the error. So this is called the least square approach since the square of the error is minimized. Now the question is that how it works. So this is that let we have data points. I have a large number of data points. It is given to me x1, y1, x2, y2, up to x n y n. So n number of data points are given to me. where for some values of xi of the variable, the value of the variable y is given as yi. So now if I take a, so this is my x-axis and this is my y-axis. In the least square method, ordering and sequencing of nodal point is not essential. Okay, so whatever the point we are taking, there no need that we ordering them or sequencing them as we used to do in the case of interpolation. In the method, we can approximate the given function by a polynomial or some other standard function. Okay, so in this case, we can also approximate, as I told you, using the interpolation, we can approximate the function by a polynomial or some other standard function. Now, how does it work? Least square approximation, estimating a best fit solution for a system by minimizing the magnitude of the resulting error term. Okay, and we will discuss the linears in the regression form also. Like this type of results you must have heard in the course of probability and statistics. In that also we do the regression interpolation. So there we find the regression lines. So actually the regression lines we find there is come from similarly the least square method. So this is my least square regression. So regression means this is coming regression line. It is also work as a regression line. So the least linear least square regression, the simplest example of the least square approximation is fitting a straight line to the set of paired observation. Okay, so this is the paired observation we have. This is the data point basically, and we want to approximate mathematical expression of the straight line as a naught plus a1x, and this is plus some e, that is the error. Okay, so basically this is my equation of a line. So a naught and a1 we need to find, and I will substitute this x1 here, I will get y1 here. I will substitute x2 here, I should get y2 here. Okay, so but these yi's are, so maybe I can write down how this error is coming up. See, I have a line y is equal to a naught plus a1 x. Now if I substitute a naught plus a1 x1, I will get y1. And this y1 is different from this y1. Okay, so this y1 may be different from small y1. If it is same, then it's okay. It means this point lies on the line. If it is not lying on the line, then this capital yi will be different from small yi. So this way we can find out all the terms value. Now our, what we want to do, we want to find the value of a naught and a1. So one way is to use optimization technique, since looking for a minimum. So we have already done in the calculus that if you want to find out the optimization of a some function, optimized value means maxima or minima, then what we do, we always go with the derivatives and then put the derivative equal to 0, finding the critical points, and then taking the help of the second derivatives to find out whether we are going to have a maxima or minima. So these are the same things we can do here. So this is used to find out the normal equation. So another way is to solve the normal equation for a naught and a1 according to the derivation. So how it works? Now, the derivation of the normal equation used to solve this value. Now you see, this is the value given to me, that is already given to us minus the value we have got by substituting in the given equation of the line. So this becomes basically error. It is my error, EI. Now I am taking the square of this error. Okay, so I'm just taking the square and then I am adding all this error together. So that's why if you see why its name is least square. So I'm doing first, I'm squaring the error and I'm finding the least. So this is what we have done. We have squared the errors and then we are finding the least value of this one. So first differentiate the sum. So this is my function and I will differentiate with respect to a naught, or this is my summation. This is also summation. Okay. So I'm taking here del. So this is actually mathematical typos. Del SR by del A naught and del SR by del A1. So I'm taking the partial derivative. So you can see that it will come 2 here, summation. I'm taking with respect to A naught, so minus sign will come here, and this is the value. Then I am taking with the A1, so again minus A minus 2, this value. Only thing is that with respect to A1 I am taking, so xi will come, so this is my xi. So I have taken these two values by that taking the partial derivative. And now this partial derivative I put equal to 0 here, and then used based on these values I'll get these equations. So if I take this sum inside and then putting equal to 0, then you will see that this value will come from here and this is also coming from in this form. And then if I take these values yi on the right hand side and xi into yi on the right hand side, so I will get this value. So this is n a naught. So what is the n a naught? Why from here it came? You see this value. So I'm adding a naught n times, and a naught is just a constant, so it will get n a naught plus summation xi a1. A1 is a constant. I'll just take out from this summation and I'll get this value is equal to summation yi. And similarly, I get this value summation xi a naught summation xi square a1 and this value. So you can see from here. Now I need to find two variables a naught and a1. And you know from the concept of linear algebra that to have a unique solution, you should have 2 by 2 system. So this is a 2 by 2 system I'm going to have. Okay, so this is if I put it this in the matrix form, then you will see this value like this one. So once I get this, so these are called the normal equation. These two equations are called the normal equation. So if I put this one in the form of a matrix form, like so first is n summation xi and summation xi square is equal to this value. Now the thing is that if you see, then this matrix is a symmetric matrix. You will see that this matrix is a symmetric matrix. And now the question is, I want to solve this system of equation. How you will solve this system of equation? This become a type of a, and so this is I call it C, and this is on the right hand side I call it Y. So this is my system of equation, 2 by 2. Now the question is that I should be able to find the unique solution if this matrix A is non-singular. Then I can take the inverse and I will get the solution. How we can say that this matrix is a always non-singular? One thing is true. From here I can see that this matrix is a symmetric matrix. Okay, but now the question is that how we can say that this matrix is always non-singular. So that I will tell you later on. And one thing also that you will see that the rank of this matrix A in this case is 2. Okay, so this rank is 2. So this matrix is a non-singular matrix. Then I will take the inverse, and once we solve this value, I will get the value of A1 and A0. So in the A1, I am getting this value, and the denominator I am getting this n summation xi square minus summation xi the whole square. Okay, so this value we are getting here, and from here I am able to find A1 and A0. So this is in the next lecture, maybe I will tell you that how we can say that this matrix is a non-singular matrix, and because this matrix is a non-singular, only then I should be able to find the solution of this one. Now the thing is that the type of least square curve fits, that how many type of least square methods I can use. So the least square curve fit is the first one is the linear fit. As discussed, this function fit a straight line through your data of the form y is equal to m naught plus m1x. There are no data restriction associated with this curve fit. Okay. On a semi-log or log-log plot, this fit appears as a curved line, because you know that if you take a x-axis and y-axis, only then this will look like a straight line. But this is actually we can use in the MATLAB. If we change the this axis as a semi-log or low log, then this curve, this straight line will look like a curve. Now after that, we can have a polynomial fit. This function fit a curve through your data point of the form this. Now, suppose somebody is not interested in the least square method having the line, but you want to use the higher order techniques or higher order polynomial. So in that case also we can apply the least square method, but here we are taking the kth order polynomial. So the more complex the curvature of the data, the higher the polynomial order required to fit it. Suppose your data is very sparse, it is spread over all the domain in the given, that is a given domain. So in that case, you may find that okay, we are not going to approximate this with a line, but better to use a quadratic curve or a cubic curve or a higher order polynomial. Then in that case we can use the same least square method to approximate the higher order polynomial. So there are no data restriction as associated with the curve fit. Not in general for functions that are nonlinear in parameters, like fitting a Gaussian function or sine function like this one. There is an important class of function that are nonlinear in parameter but can be linearized. So we can linearize, cast in the form become the linear. For example, exponential function, logarithmic function, power function, because we can take their series, power series. Exponential function, I can find its series and then I can just take few terms of the series and linear series, then I'll get that this is the linearized form. Similarly, I can use the logarithmic, use its series. In that series, we just take the linear terms, then it will be the linearized form. So in the case of exponential fit, This function fits a curve through your data point, and this is my exponential curve. So I can use this exponential curve also to do the least square fitting. So this is, it is generally used to fit the data that increases or decreases, because we suppose we have data that we just looking at the data we found that okay, this is look like a exponential function. So in that case it is better to use the least this exponential fit. So we'll find out let y is equal to this one. In this case we need to find the value of m naught and m1. We are suppose we are able to find this one, then this given curve or given data can be approximated with the help of this exponential fit. Similarly we can have a logarithmic fit. So in this case our data points looks like this one. Okay, so it is, if you see it is looking like a line, but instead of x we have a log x. So it is a logarithmic fit, and we generally take this whenever we have a large value of x, like the value of x is given at like 100, and then maybe 101, 102, or maybe 100, 200, 300, or maybe it is given at the interval of 100, then at the 1000, then at the 10,000. So in that case we always go for the logarithmic fit, because instead of x we can use the log x, and on a semi-log plot like this. So similarly, we can go for the power fit. So this function fit a curve through your data with this power function. So in this case also we need to find the value of m naught and m1, and if we are able to find this, then this fit will be the power fit, and it is being taken from with the help of least square method. So I think now we'll tell you that how it can be done in the MATLAB. So this will be covered in the another lecture. So I hope that this is clear to you. So I hope that this preliminary lecture on least square method is clear to you, and this is will be helpful for you whenever you have a data point and you want to approximate the data point, or you want to fix a curve for the given data point with the help of least square method. So in the another lecture we'll discuss that how I just told you that how a matrix becomes non-singular. So that we'll discuss in the another exam, another lecture. So thanks for watching. Thanks very much.